There was something of a surprise for our visitors at Harrogate when a rather special object arrived mid-morning on our Roadshow day. With football's most prestigious cup competition in full swing here on the BBC, we were offered a rare opportunity to work with a very special piece of silver. None other than the FA Cup. Here it is in all its splendour, complete with Gabby Logan from BBC Sports, Eddie Gray, a very familiar face, of course, manager of Leeds United, and winner of the FA Cup as well in 1972.
Yeah, winner of the FA Cup. Great day for everybody to play in it and also win it. It was just beyond your dreams.
And Gabby, this particular one, because there are replicas, has a very special place in the heart of English football fans, doesn't it?
This had a really long tenure because the FA Cup started in 1872. This trophy started being used in 1911 and then was put out of service in 1992. So that's a very long period of time.
But of course there's a very special day in the middle.
There is, the Sir Stanley Matthews FA Cup. So he's been one of the many greats to have held this aloft, but that is seen as one of the greatest examples, I think, of football, let alone the FA Cup. That match was so phenomenal.
The FA Cup's always been like that. I mean, some great names held up over the years.
But what about you, Eddie? Because obviously you were in, you were a player for Leeds, the 1972 final when you beat Arsenal. What is it like for a player to hold this cup aloft?
Oh, it's terrific, especially for the skipper. And I've got a little memento here. Captain Billy Bremner. I'm stuck in there.
Look at that mop top.
I'm not sure that's going to be valued quite as highly as this.
No. I've also brought along the medal, the 72 medal, the FA Cup medal that we won that day, and that's something that you treasure. You know,
absolutely beautiful.
I get out occasionally and have a look at it. You know,
I bet.
Days gone by.
This cup was retired, as you say, Gabby, in 1992. Too fragile, I imagine, by lots of people holding it up aloft.
Yeah.
And we've now got the fourth replica.
And this one stays most of the time when it's not on the road here. It stays in Wembley, so people can go and see it. And you know, when you look at it, it looks really robust, doesn't it? But as you say, it's been around a fair few kind of hands and players getting quite excited. I imagine accidentally dropped occasionally.
Oh, it's been dropped on many occasions, yeah. Especially coming down the steps from Wembley. You know, when you get presented, you know, the top usually falls off. It's a wonderful trophy.
Do you know, I noticed the top was a bit wonky.
Yeah.
That'll probably be why.
Yeah.
And what is it we can help you with, Gabby, today, in terms of what you'd like to know about the cup?
It's absolutely stunning. I just wonder how much it's worth. Can you put a value on something like this?
Well, you're in the right place, naturally. One of our silver experts, Alison Dickinson, not only knows everything there is to know about silver, but is also a footballing aficionado. So he's your man.
Hello, Gabby. It's a real pleasure to meet you. I'm really rather stunned and shocked with what you brought along. What can I tell you about it?
Well, I think one of the things that I find really interesting about trophies generally is how different they can all be, from the tiny kind of ashes, the Jules Rimet, and some trophies are massive and seem to represent the magnitude of the competition. It's a big trophy, but it's a very ornate trophy. Is that because it's a product of its time? Would that be to do with the designs in the late 19th century, or is there another reason why it looks like this?
Well, it's a very good question, because having looked at this fairly recently, I noticed that it's embossed with fruiting vines. Now, why would you have fruiting vines embossed on a football trophy? You would normally expect to see a football stuck on top.
Somewhere.
Yeah. And there's nothing on this to indicate that it was made specially as a football trophy. Now, I might be banned from every football ground in the country for saying this, but I suspect this might have been an off-the-shelf piece, that it was not specifically made. I cannot see why it should have fruiting vines on it, because that was a form of design that was used over many hundreds of years. And in fact, this sort of shape goes back to ancient classical vases from the ancient Roman and Greek times. But here we have a cup of fairly standard, almost bell shape, campana shape, they sometimes call it in auctioneers' catalogues, but with nothing about it that says it's got anything to do with football, except that it's inscribed that it's the FA Cup.
So literally off the shelf in a shop, or would it have belonged to somebody who donated it?
I think it was probably in a shop. The first FA Cup, which was played in 1872 on a cricket ground at the Oval where Surrey play, that was known as the Little Tin Idol, which is a wonderful nickname. It was made of silver, but that was what it was called. Then in 1895, when Aston Villa won the cup for the second time, they put it on display in a local shop, and with ours, the cup was stolen. So a replica was made, and that lasted till 1910. Then that one was withdrawn because it was discovered that a rival football competition were using exactly the same cup. So in comes this beauty in 1911. Although the marks are completely worn, we know it was made by Fattorini and Sons, and they were Italian immigrants that came to England in the early 19th century, and Antonio Fattorini was the founder of the company. And in 1831, he opened up a shop here in Harrogate. And then they opened up another business in Bradford, and that's where this cup was made.
Made in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
So if this wasn't designed and made for the FA Cup, what would it have been used for?
Well, I think the fact that it's got all these vines and grapes on it, it might have been used as a wine cooler or a champagne cooler, something like that.
I'm sure it's had plenty of champagne inside over the years.
More than you and I could possibly think of, I think.
Is it possible to put a value on something like this, with all that history that you've just
I
described?
was just going to say, the hardest thing of all about this is trying to put a value on it. This is probably, along with maybe the Wimbledon trophy, the most famous cup in the country. I think quite comfortably this has got to be worth well over £1 million. The highest value piece of silver I've ever valued on the Antiques Roadshow.
Wow.